Chapter 7. Joys of D ranks. A couple of years have passed and Naruto and Hinata have grown quite a bit. They were now both 10 years old and each of them were slightly taller than kids of the same age due to their constant training. Both Naruto and Hinata were very strong when compared to others of their age, if you could even compare. In the academy, physical shinobi conditioning and training only start when the students are 12 years old, in which they learn the academy taijutsu style coupled with ninjutsu. If they were to face Naruto or Hinata, they would get demolished. They were both well-rounded shinobi, however Naruto still couldn't cast a low-level genjutsu without Sharingan to save his life. Actually, he found it easier to cast high-ranking genjutsus that required more chakra than low-level ones. Even though Naruto focused a lot in chakra control, bringing it to Jonin levels, he still couldn't do a single bushin. He either did at least 50 or the one will fail. Naruto finally mastered bow staff but decided to learn kenjutsu since his mother was one of the best in the leaf. Since he couldn't get in most shops, he bought couple of books in weapons forging. Since he had fire nature, he decided to forge his own weapons with scrap metal and other weapons he found in training fields. In time he would buy chakra metal for a proper sword. In fact, both of them learned kenjutsu in the same style, however Naruto favored speed and strength and Hinata, being more flexible, preferred to dodge the strikes. This type of kenjutsu style, much like his taijutsu, was based on parrying or dodging the attacks with quick strikes meant to end the battle in one strike. This was the kenjutsu style of the Uzumaki clan. Uzumaki Kushina before her death was on par with the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. This group was composed by the greatest swordsmen of the mist and were not to be underestimated. In fact, each of their swords had special abilities that favored each of their styles. Kushina in fact was known as Konoha's Red Death due to her crimson-red hair color. Naruto also learned the gentle fist with Hinata and both practiced until perfected. Even though Naruto's Sharingan couldn't see the chakra points, he adapted the style for pressure points. One of the problems they had was Hinata's low chakra pool, so they focused on that for almost last year and managed to increase her levels quite a bit. She had low Jonin chakra levels and cage level control. Naruto had high cage chakra levels and Jonin level control. Naruto realized that Hinata was actually quite proficient in the gentle fist and asked her why did their family treat that badly when she was quite talented. The fact was that in order to learn the gentle fist effectively and train their stances and techniques, one would have to use another as test subject, and closing tenketsus was quite painful, so Hinata refused to that to the branch members. Hinata was too kind to even try and harm someone in order to train, but with Naruto that wasn't a problem. Naruto used the shadow clone techniques to provide Hinata as much guinea pigs as she wanted. In doing so, her technique skyrocketed and she even managed to hold her ground against Naruto in taijutsu. In ninjutsu they both mastered their chosen affinities and the jutsu they had. Hinata started in wind and Naruto started in lightning. One interesting fact was that Naruto discovered was that he had high lightning affinity similar to Nadime's water affinity. In fact, Naruto wasn't really a sensor in the normal terms since he didn't sense chakra. Naruto, due to his lightning affinity, could actually feel the bioelectricity of the people around him. Knowing that he had such an affinity, he started investing more and more in this element. He went to his father's library and gathered all the lightning techniques that he could. Now we find Naruto walking through the village heading for the Hokage Tower. The villagers still sent the usual glares and they would still try and harm him, but now with his training he managed to escape. He could have fought them but he chose not to harm them. He didn't want to give the poor Hokage more paperwork. Hokage Tower He arrived at the Hokage Tower and made his way up. Arriving at the Hokage's office, he turned to the secretary. He never liked her and the feeling was mutual. She was one of the idiotic civilians who couldn't tell the difference between a scroll and sealed kunai. Just let it go, kid. Someday they will understand, the Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded inwardly. Good morning, I came to talk with the Hokage. Is he available? Naruto asked politely as he for once didn't want trouble. She looked up and saw that thing in front of her and with a disgusting face said, "What would the Hokage want with a thing like you?" She spat. "You should be careful on how you address me. One wrong word and I have permission to separate your head from your shoulders," he said in a serious tone while releasing a bit of key killer intent, as she was a civilian and too much could kill her. "Tdh Hokage will see you now," she quickly said, fearing for her life while showing a false smile. Naruto opened the door to see a smiling face of the Hokage. "Naruto-kun, how have you been?" the Hokage asked. I'm fine. Actually, I have a favor to ask you, he said, to which the Hokage raised an eyebrow. I'll do my best. What do you need? He said. Well, you see, I'm running a bit low on cash this month and I know that I'm not a shinobi yet, but would it possible for me to get a couple of D ranks? He said, looking at the Hokage's thinking face. The Hokage pondered the situation. Genins always hate these missions and they tend to stockpile, besides it couldn't hurt, he thought. Sure, Naruto-kun, but you do realize that these missions are normally done with a Jonin sensei and their Genin squad, so they will take long for you, he said. No problem, old man, I can create my own army if I need, Naruto said, placing his fingers in a cross form, channeling some chakra, and in a puff of smoke 20 clones appeared in the office. The Hokage jaw hit the floor seeing a 10-year-old pull a B rank kinjutsu. Where did you learn that? You do realize the techniques is a kinjutsu for its massive chakra usage, he said, trying to make Naruto understand the dangers of the technique. Relax, Gigi. I copied it when I was watching Kakashi and a weird guy named Guy in green spandex shouting something about flames of youth spar. Besides, I have a crap ton of chakra. I can easily make 1,000 clones and still be in fighting condition, he said with a smirk. The Hokage nodded slowly. Kami, he can make 1,000 clones at 10 years old. I know he's a Jinchuriki person with tailed beast sealed inside, but, damn. He will be a chakra powerhouse, he thought. Okay, Naruto, since you still aren't an official ninja, I'll give you the missions and later when you become one I'll add them to your file. Come with me to the mission room, the Hokage said, and they both left the Hokage's office heading towards the mission room. Konoha's mission room #. So, let's see what we got here, the Hokage said, going through the available missions. How many do you want? Seeing as you can create a bunch of clones, I think you might be able to clear our workload, the Hokage continued. Naruto pondered, give me 10 missions, if I have time today I'll do a few more. Besides, Hinata decided to go visit Kurenai, so I'll have the day for the missions, Naruto said, picking the scrolls and opening the first. Damn cat, Naruto thought as he read the first mission. It was to retrieve a fearsome beast. The name of said beast was Tora, the one-tailed demon cat. Oh please, I got 8 more tails, Kyuubi said. Besides, we can always burn her a crisp and blame enemy ninja, Kyuubi said, chuckling, and Naruto's sweat dropped. Few hours later come here, Tora. Here, kitty, Naruto said, trying to approach the cat without having her fleeing. Naruto channeled chakra to his legs and jumped, catching the cat. Tora didn't find it much fun as she started clawing him all over the place. Oh hell, I'm tired of this, Naruto said, activating his Sharingan. He looked at Tora and said, Megan, Kasagui no Jutsu, shackling stakes. The Genjutsu paralyzed Tora, and Naruto said, Megan, Jigoku Guka no Jutsu, Hellfire technique. This new Genjutsu made Tora think she was being burned alive. Mufahaha. Naruto chuckled evilly as Tora screamed in pain. Kyuubi, seeing this, sweat dropped and thought, I got a dumbass for a container. For evil laugh check, #. Next mission, helping farmer, #. Naruto made his way for his next mission. He read the scroll and the mission was to cultivate a piece of land since the farmer didn't have enough time to do it himself. Naruto arrived at the site. The farmer's house was actually almost outside of the village and the land itself was fairly big. Judging from the size of the land, it most likely was for planting the vegetables and later selling them. Naruto approached the client and started doing his job. The client didn't seem happy they sent the demon brat, but at least the Kyuubi would working for him. Almost an hour was due and Naruto continued his work using a hoe to groom the land peacefully and undisturbed until slam. A noise echoed through the clearing as the sound of metal clashing. Naruto removed a couple inches of dirt until he saw a metal door in the ground. What the hell is this? Naruto thought as he moved to open the hatch. Once opened, he saw a bunch of stairs that seemingly lead underground. As a curious kid he carefully made his way down. As he was going down, he couldn't help but notice the smell. One of the things of having the Kyuubi inside of him was that it gave enhanced senses, primarily smell and hearing. The smell itself was of death and putrefaction. Something isn't right here, Naruto thought as he began to explore what appeared a vast underground base with a long corridor with multiple rooms connected. Checking a few rooms, even him couldn't help himself but to throw up. In one of the rooms of skeletons of people and a few others still decomposing. Going in further and checking another room, he could see vials spread along the table with strange colored liquids, and he wisely decided it would be best not to touch them. As he continued exploring the base, he kept wondering how could this exist here and be kept a secret. Judging by the looks of it, it seemed that whoever lived here left in a hurry. This smell, snakes, Naruto was thinking when suddenly he pieced together the facts. He read in the library about a shinobi that used snakes as summons and defected Konoha after was found doing twisted experiments with children that he kidnapped. Orochimaru, the snake Sanin, Naruto concluded, and made a shadow clone and said, "Go tell the old man." The clone left and Naruto continued exploring, gazing into the room so he could have a brief idea of what it contained. One of the rooms appeared to be a small study room. Entering the room and making his way to the table, he saw a few seals and a multitude of vials of blood with various names in them: Senju Hashirama, Senju, Tobarama, Namikaze Minato, and few others Naruto didn't recognize. What could possibly Orochimaru want the blood of my father, not to mention the Senju brothers? Naruto kept wondering until he saw a few notes written in what it seemed to be a diary. He continued reading until that twisted bastard, Hokage office Hiruzen was having a normal day in his office, and by normal I say he was cursing Minato for leaving him with the paperwork when suddenly he saw Naruto bursting through the door. "Old man," Naruto started, "I think I found one of Orochimaru's old bases," to which the Hokage yelled, "What?" "I was doing one of the missions and I was cultivating a field until I hit a metal hatch. After opening it and checking inside, it reeked of snakes and there were dead bodies all over," Naruto said. "Anbu," the Hokage said, and in front of him appeared an Anbu with a weasel mask, kneeling before the Hokage and waiting for orders. "Bring me Ibiki and Anko." "Hi, Hokage-sama," the Anbu said and vanished in a puff of smoke. The Hokage turned to Naruto. "Naruto, or the original?" he asked, to which Naruto shook his head negatively. "Boss is in checking the rest of the base and making sure no one enters it," the close responded. "Then tell him to continue guarding the entrance until Anko and Ibiki arrive, then tell him to come here immediately after," the Hokage said, getting a nod before the clone dispelled. Orochimaru base Naruto was still going through the base until the memories of the clone hit him and he stopped and gathered what he was doing and made his way to the entrance. Naruto waited a couple of minutes before a man and woman dropped in front of him. The man was about 193 centimeters, 6 feet 4 inches, wore traditional black Anbu pants and a black jacket. He also wore a long-sleeved black jacket and a scarf that covered the top of his head. The man had a few scars in his face. Naruto recognized him from a couple of pranks he pulled. He was Morino Ibiki, a Tokubetsu special Jonin and the commander of Konoha's torture and interrogation force. Besides, Ibiki was a woman who had approximately 167 centimeters, 5 feet 55 inches. She wore a full-body mesh armor with a short brown skirt and a long trench coat that barely covered her D-cup breasts. She had purple pineapple-style hair and brown eyes. Naruto assumed that this woman was Anko. Naruto, facing both of them, turned towards the woman and said, "I assume you are Anko." "I'm the sexy and single Madarashi Anko," she exclaimed, pumping her fist in the air, to which Naruto's sweat dropped. "I was doing AD rank and came across this base, and after exploring it I concluded it belonged to Orochimaru, so I informed the Hokage. My work is done, knock yourself out," Naruto said and left towards the Hokage's office. Hokage's office Naruto arrived at the Hokage's office and saw him with a saddened and thoughtful look. Naruto assumed it had to do with Orochimaru. After all, he was one of Hiruzen's most prized students, a genius that comes once in a lifetime. However, he got caught in his own ambitions. "I'm here, old man," Naruto said, getting the Hokage's attention. "I don't even know if this should be called luck or not," the Hokage said, sighing. Was Naruto's genius of an answer. "You said that you were low on cash and wanted a few D-ranks missions, and you end up finding one of my old students' laboratory." Naruto nodded and the Hokage continued, "Since you found it, I'm upgrading the mission to S rank. You are never to speak of it, and everything you found and saw inside you are never to reveal. Are we clear?" the Hokage said in serious and demanding tone. "Hi, Hokage-sama," Naruto replied as if he was a usual shinobi that brought a small smile to the man's face. "I would call it luck," Naruto said, grinning. "Well then, I'm gonna get going. See you later, Gigi," he said, and the Hokage nodded. Once Naruto left the room, the Hokage leaned back in his chair, lost in his thoughts. The wonders of D ranks, the Hokage thought, chuckling to himself. He got out of his thought and got back to work. The Hokage looked at the amount of paperwork and yelled, "Damn you, Minato!" Chapter 9. Academy Days and Graduation # 4 years later # the sun is just starting to appear and shine above Konoha. People are starting to open their shops for another ordinary day. However, to some people this is no ordinary day, if you can say so. 4 long years have passed and now both Naruto and Hinata are 14 years old and today is graduation day. During these last 4 years their growth was tremendous, and if we were to estimate their current level of power, one can say that in terms of skill Hinata's taijutsu is Kage level, same as Naruto's ninjutsu and taijutsu. However, if we were to be realistic, their taijutsu is Jonin level because, even though they both use gravity seals to increase strength and speed, their bodies are still developing and can't compete against adults with also lacking experience. However, these rules do not apply to ninjutsu, even less Naruto. With his massive chakra reserves that dwarf even the Hokage of the Leaf in reasonable control. In fact, Naruto must constantly train chakra control because of his ever-increasing reserves. In fact, Naruto is a chakra powerhouse in terms of ninjutsu, with his high affinity for lightning coupled with fire and wind natures, all of them offensive ones. There isn't much of an obstacle Naruto can't surpass. In the last 4 years Hinata has become master of her own taijutsu style derived from the gentle fist, to which she calls flowing fist, which, much like the name says, Hinata, due to her natural flexibility, flows through the enemy, dodging all offensive attacks while closing the enemy's chakra points. Even though her own taijutsu style is extremely strong, she still is very proficient in the original, gentle fist. In Naruto's case his taijutsu style is very different. He trained his father style and mastered it. However, if the enemy had some sort of shield, attacking the enemy pressure points would be pointless, no pun intended. So Naruto developed his very own style, combining the best offensive style of the Goken, strong fist, and pressure point damage with the defensive style of the Uchiha's interceptor fist, creating what he call dragon fist. However, he can add one small twist, if you can call it that. Naruto, after his training in lightning, managed to envelop his own fists and foots in a coat of lightning chakra, which if makes contact with the enemy can either massively increase the power of the strike or send the lightning chakra to the enemy's chakra circulatory system to effectively numb the area of the hit. This taijutsu style is called Raken, lightning fist. Actually, since both Naruto and Hinata have wind affinity, they can create invisible chakra wind blades in their fingers. Invisible to anyone without dujutsu, of course. Using this technique they can inflict damage to wherever they hit, damaging their muscles and disabling the enemy. In the ninjutsu department one can say Naruto is a monster. With his 3 affinities completely mastered and all of them offensive, Naruto is a force to be reckoned with. His arsenal contains a vast amount of techniques for every affinity, including a few creations of his own. Even though Hinata's has high chakra levels if compared to anyone her age, she has Jonin level chakra reserves when should be Genin. Her advantage over Naruto comes from extreme high chakra control, rivaling Tsunade herself. Due to her control, Sei learned a few medicinal jutsus for self-healing if necessary, since Naruto has the fox's chakra. Going for the genjutsu section, let's just say the Naruto sucks at it. The only genjutsu Naruto is even able to cast without the Sharingan activated is Kokuangyu no Jutsu, Bringer of Darkness, a genjutsu created by the Nadaime Hokage and considered a kinjutsu due to the fact that even after activated it continues to drain chakra constantly. If we check Hinata, due her control she can pretty much use all genjutsu she knows but refrains from using the Kokuangyu no Jutsu, Bringer of Darkness, since she can't spend such amount of chakra. In the weapons section both of them are extremely masterful with kunai, shurikens and senbon, but also kenjutsu. Naruto named the style he and Hinata learned Issei no Ryuken, Dragon's Cry sword style, not my style, read it somewhere. Since the fact their shinobi life is about to begin, Naruto had previously forged their own swords. Naruto's sword was a Chikudo, straight single-edged sword, created with chakra metal for his lightning affinity. It was 20 inches long without hilt. The handle was dark orange with black stripes and in the center the Uzumaki swirl. Check profile for image. Hinata has a similar sword, being the handle in lavender color. In Fuinjutsu, Naruto truly honors the Uzumaki clan. His ingenuity in the art of Fuinjutsu truly is amazing. Naruto is officially a level 10 seal master. Level 10 of 10. Actually, Naruto even has some of his own creations and is currently working on his father's Hirishin technique. However, the Shiki formula of the Hirishin must be created for its own user, so Naruto cannot use his father's Kunai. Since the Shiki formula is tied to the user's blood, Naruto has to admit that his father truly was magnificent in creating such a simple yet complex technique. Hinata also has training in Fuinjutsu but not so extensive as Naruto. Since Naruto used his shadow clone army to pretty much devour every book. In fact, I believe that Naruto managed to read almost every book in the library. One might not believe it, but Naruto focused a lot of shadow clones in politics and laws of Konoha, since he would have to, one day, put up with the council. In the last section we have medical training. Neither of them have extensive medical training. Hinata can use a few simple techniques to heal superficial wounds. However, both of them have pretty good grasp of poisons and antidotes, but also human anatomy. It's in here that the Senbon come into play. Naruto can use Senbon to mix with his pressure point taijutsu if necessary, but also coat the Senbon with paralyzing or killing poison of his own creation. All in all, both Naruto and Hinata are extremely skilled and resourceful shinobi, even though they are actually civilians. However, any civilian that can use chakra can be considered a shinobi. Graduation day, Naruto's house. The sun was coming up, its beams breaking through the window. Naruto was peacefully sleeping but began to stir as the sun started shining through the room. Looking down, he saw what most likely was an angel. Hinata was sleeping with her head in his chest, the sun hitting her pale skin making her glow almost like a goddess. Kissing her in the forehead, she started to stir and yawning. Tempted to open her eyes, she noticed a hand slowly caressing her hair. She knew it was Naruto. She didn't want to leave his warmth and tried to snuggle closer to him, burying her face in his chest. Naruto, seeing this, chuckled. Hina-chan, he started, we have to get up. Don't forget it's graduation day, he said as he made a cage bushin to go make breakfast. I don't want to get up. She pouted. You are required to be my pillow, she stated, to which he smirked. Pulling her chin up, he slowly placed a kiss in her lips, awaking up his sleeping beauty. Come on now, Haim, he said, rolling both of them with him on top of her. He placed a few kisses along her neck, making her giggle. Fine, she said, finally agreeing with the blonde. Getting up and starting to get dressed. Hina-chan, it's time, he said, and Hinata nodded. Today was the day their masks would come off. They were more than powerful enough to protect themselves and let the world see who they really were. Of course they wouldn't show off to the world, but the dead last, Dobi, loudmouth blonde, and the shy and kind Hinata were no more. Naruto now was about 165 centimeters, 5 feet 4 inches, and had 2 fangs of blonde hair that framed his face. He wore orange baggy pants with black flames in the bottom with white strapping in his right leg. He had white jacket with orange endings and mid-length black sleeves. In the back of the jacket it had kanji for 9. He wore black fingerless gloves with metal on the back of the hand, and in each wrist bracelets with storage seals for kunai, shuriken, senbon, and his sword and small belt with numerous other scrolls. Anyone who saw him now wouldn't even recognize him. Hinata was slightly shorter than him, but if we would compare to the rest of the class, she would one of the tallest person there. She wore black pants with white strappings holding kunai pouch and a white bulky jacket with white fur. She also has a lavender piece of cloth tied in her forehead, a gift from Naruto. Like canon in part 1 without Hyuga clan symbol. You look handsome, Naru-kun, she said in a sweet voice that sent shivers to the blonde. Boss, breakfast is ready, the clone said, and brought milk and cereals, bacon and eggs for breakfast. They both silently ate and started preparing for the last day in the academy. Thank Kami, Naruto thought. After breakfast both left the house and headed towards the academy. Hinata was wrapped around Naruto's right arm. It didn't matter anymore who saw them. It was the beginning of their shinobi careers. The walk was rather calm, many of the villagers didn't even recognize Naruto. Arriving at the academy, they realized it was a bit earlier. They made their way to the back of the classroom and sit waiting for their classmates and sensei. Soon after their arrival the classroom started filling, and moments later entered the almighty Uchiha Sasuke, followed of course by his horde of horny fangirls. Sasuke scanned the room and spotted both Hinata and someone with her. Discarding it, he made his way to the first row and took the seat by the windows so he could gaze outside when bored. Moments later, Yumino Iruka walked out the door. Said person had black pants and standard chunin flat jacket. He had brown hair tied in a ponytail and large scar across his nose. "Good morning, class," he said. Checking the classroom and noticing he didn't get their attention, he used his patented big head jutsu and yelled, "Silence." Everyone quieted down. Iruka started calling his students to mark their presence, until he reached Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto was about to answer when another one beat him to it. "Looks like Dobi if failing again," Sasuke said, getting laughs from everyone. "Are you all blind?" a voice from the back of the classroom said. Getting everyone attention and looking at him like he was a ghost, he said, "Yo," waving his hand, "Present, Iruka-sensei." Everyone was blinking at said person, still processing that he was Naruto. Naruto. The pink banshee, aka Sakura, asked. "The one and only," he said with his foxy grin. The whole class looked at the new look and was a vast improvement over the old one. "Gotta say the new outfit looked pretty good." Iruka snapped over the surprise and finished his list. "As you all know," Iruka started, "today is your graduation exam. At the end of the today, those who pass will become shinobi of the leaf. We will start with written exam, followed by weapons, taijutsu, and finally ninjutsu. Now let's begin," Iruka said and started handing out the exams. As he got near Naruto, a discreet smile appeared in Mizuki. Mizuki was Iruka's assistant, and like many others, he hated the demon brat and tried everything so he could fail and have his revenge. Naruto sensed something strange about his exam and discreetly activated his Sharingan and discovered a well-placed genjutsu in his test. Making a half-tiger hand seal and saying in his mind, "Kai," the genjutsu dispelled and showed the real exam that Naruto started filling, and after 20 minutes he was already done, as was Hinata, and both waited for the rest of the class. "Okay class, time's up," Iruka said, and Mizuki got up and started collecting the exams. After which the class moved to the training field for the weapons exam. "Alright class, you have here 10 kunai and 10 shuriken that you must throw and hit the marks," Iruka explained and started calling names, and each of the students moved forward for the evaluation. "Uchiha Sasuke," Iruka called, and suddenly every fangirl was yelling, "Sasuke is the best. Go Sasuke, show them." Hinata seeing this rolled her eyes and thought, "And they called themselves shinobi, Sasuke doesn't even care about them." Sasuke picked up the weapons and expertly threw them at the same time like the elite he was. Every single kunai HT dead center in the dummies as well, most of the shuriken except one that missed the high-scoring area. "Well done Sasuke. You got 19 out of 20 inches," Iruka said, and the fan-girl group went wild. Sasuke was going back to his place and bumping Naruto said, "Beat that Dobi." "Uzumaki Naruto," Iruka called. The blonde simply took the weapons and realized that they were blunt, simply shrugging it off and discreetly channeling a bit of lightning chakra through them so they would stick to the dummy. He threw them all at the same time, hitting every single target dead center. Iruka eyes widened. Good job Naruto. You got perfect score, 20 out of 20 inches," Iruka said, congratulating him. The fangirls of course started yelling that Naruto cheated, and Sasuke simply scowled the blonde. "Hyuga Hinata," Iruka called. Hinata, much like Naruto, walked up and picked up the weapons and without flinching effortlessly threw them, hitting every single target like Naruto. Iruka jaw dropped. What is up today? Hinata never was good in weapons. Congratulating Hinata, Iruka finished the rest of the class and moved to the taijutsu exam. "Okay class, for the next exam you must hold your ground against Mizuki for 2 minutes. Mizuki won't go very much on the offensive, but be prepared," Iruka explained. "Uzumaki Naruto," Iruka called. "Finally, I get my hands on the demon," Mizuki thought. Naruto, seeing the twisted smile in Mizuki's face, decided to make him suffer a little bit. Taking his stance, knees bent with right leg slightly forward. Right arm extended forward with right palm facing the enemy while the left arm coiled near the waist. Iruka eyes widened when he recognized the stance. But that's the gentle fist stance," Iruka said. "Poor Dobi. He even doesn't know what he's doing," Sasuke said, getting laughs from the rest of the class. "Looks like Naru-kun is going to play around for a little bit," Hinata thought with a giggle. "Hajime, start," Iruka said, and immediately Mizuki shot forward with a closed fist trying to punch him. Naruto slightly grabbed his fist and turned to dodge. Seeing Mizuki stumble forward, Naruto slightly touched Mizuki's shoulder, closing one tenketsu, disabling his left arm. What did you do to me? Mizuki asked, enraged as he couldn't feel his left arm. I closed the main chakra point in your left shoulder, disabling your arm. It's over, you can't win, Naruto explained. But how? You don't have the Byakugan, Ruruka said. How in the world could Naruto be able to close tenketsus? True, however the chakra points are fixed in the enemy's network, so I can remember where they are and estimate their location seeing my enemy. After that I send a small burst of chakra for area of effect, since I can't actually know exactly where the chakra point is. But nonetheless it works, Naruto explained. He got surprised faces from everyone minus Hinata. To think it's possible to use gentle fist without their dojutsu, Ruruka thought. You damn brat, you are going to pay, Mizuki said and pushed forward blindly. As he came close to Naruto he simply smirked and said, you are in my field of divination, 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, Hake Rokujuyansho, Naruto said, finishing his attack, sending Mizuki crashing to the wall and leaving him unconscious. Naruto left the ring area with everyone staring at him. He just pulled a main house secret technique of the Hyuga clan. Cheater, the fangirls yelled. How can that dobi defeat a chunin? That power should belong to me, an elite, Sasuke thought, brooding in his spot. Ruruka gave everyone 30 minutes interval while he picked up and took Mizuki to the infirmary. Alright, since Naruto knocked out Mizuki, we are going to have the students fight in one-on-one while I observe, Ruruka explained. Hyuga Hinata vs Yamanaka Ino, Ruruka called out. Poor girl, try to don't get hurt, Hinata, Ino taunted, to which Hinata rolled her eyes. It was time to show them who they were. Hajime, Ino quickly dashed forward. Hinata simply raised her right hand aiming for Ino, channeling chakra to her palm. She said, Hake Kusho, air palm. A blast of air was sent and hit Ino dead center in her chest, throwing her out of the ring and onto the ground, leaving her unconscious. You cheated, it's taijutsu only, Sakura screeched, making everyone bring their hands to their ears. That attack is considered taijutsu. Sorry, Hinata explained. What in the world is going here? Hinata was never that good at taijutsu and Naruto always seemed like a street brawler, Ruruka thought. Ruruka picked Ino up and did quick check up on her and left her leaned against a wall waiting for her to awake up so she can pit it against someone, since he didn't see her do much. After the taijutsu exam was over, everyone went inside the classroom while Ruruka called which student individually for the ninjutsu portion. Uzumaki Naruto, Ruruka called, and Naruto got up and made his down the stairs and stood in front of the classroom facing Ruruka. Good luck, Dobi, you are going to need it, Sasuke said, smirking. Fool, Naruto thought. Okay, Naruto, please perform the Henge no Jutsu, Ruruka said, and there was a poof of smoke, and in front of Ruruka was a man that, even though Ruruka knew it was a henge, gave him shivers as he looked at his eyes. The man's eyes were glowing and it was the Sharingan. The man in front of Ruruka was Uchiha Madara. Why of all people did you pick that man? Kyuubi asked. The Kyuubi despised Madara after all. You may not like him and he may have done more bad than good, but he still was a powerful shinobi and I have his legacy to honor, Naruto thought, getting sneer from the Kyuubi. Interesting choice, Ruruka said, discarding the shivers and continuing with the exam. Now get ready for Kawarimi, said Ruruka as he picked up a blunt kunai and threw it at Naruto. Naruto switched with a chair that was nearby. Well done, Naruto, now do at least 2 bushins, Ruruka said. Naruto always sucked at bushins and Naruto himself knew he couldn't create a single bushin to save his life. Bushin no jutsu, Naruto said and tried to release the least amount of chakra possible. There was a poof of smoke and in the ground there was a dead clone. The whole class started laughing. Still can't do a damn bushin, Ruruka-sensei, is it okay if I use another type of bushin? Naruto asked. Sure, not problem, Ruruka answered, wondering what kind of bushin Naruto was going to do. Kage bushin no jutsu, Naruto said. There was a poof of smoke and in front of Ruruka were 10 perfect clones of Naruto. Naruto smirked at the reaction of his teacher. Ruruka jaw dropped seeing Naruto pulling an B-rank Kenjutsu. Wow, Naruto, Kage bushin is a Jonin level bushin, congratulations, you pass, Ruruka said. Naruto smirked and picked his hitayat in black and tied it around his forehead. Hinata went shortly after and she too aced the exam, However, she could do perfect bushins unlike poor Naruto. Okay class, the exams are over. Congratulations to everyone that passed. This year's Rookie of the Year is Uzumaki Naruto and top Kunoichi is Hyuga Hinata. Haruka said, happy that Naruto passed and not only that he was Rookie of the Year. What? Kiba yelled. How can the dead last be Rookie of the Year? He asked. Very simple. Both Naruto and Hinata aced the written exam, got perfect scores in the weapons exam but also taijutsu and ninjutsu, Haruka explained. Is nothing but a loser. I'm an Uchiha and elite. I demand a duel between us for the title, Sasuke said. It's your choice Naruto, Haruka said. Let's go outside, Baka, Naruto said and Sasuke smirked thinking he could take him on. Hinata just shook her head knowing where this was going. That idiot is going to end up in the hospital. Everyone left the classroom and came to the training ground. Naruto and Sasuke stepped inside the ring facing each other, each one doing half tiger seal signifying they were ready for battle. Now this is a duel for title of Rookie of the Year, you can use anything. However, no crippling or killing strike understood. Haruka said. Getting nods from both of them he said, Hajime. Deciding to prove his superiority and intending to end this match quickly, Sasuke dashed forward and throwing him a punch. Naruto simply sidestepped the punch, he brought his knee and hit Sasuke's stomach. Sasuke bent forward from the strike giving Naruto opportunity to give a chop in the back of his neck leaving him unconscious on the ground. It's done, Naruto said and of course the fangirls started yelling the Naruto cheated. Congratulations Naruto, you were Rookie of the Year along with Hinata, Haruka said and both Naruto and Hinata left the academy with her wrapped around his arm. Of course Kiba seeing this got mad that Naruto was leaving with his Hinata. However, the rest of the class just kept wondering what happened today. Everyone except Shikamaru that always suspected that Naruto was hiding his true strength. Shikamaru may look lazy and unfocused but he is also extremely intelligent and observant. Naruto and Hinata were walking together going to have dinner out as a celebration for graduating and becoming shinobi of the leaf. They were walking to Ichiricus when Naruto sensed someone running through the woods. Of course Naruto remembered when Hinata was kidnapped, people running through the woods is always suspicious. Both of them decided to see what was happening and went after that person. Outpost Mizuki was running through the woods with a large scroll in his back unaware that he was being tailed. Stopping near a small shack, he sit on the ground, opened and started reading from the scroll. With the scroll of seals, Orochimaru-sama is going to give more power than I can dream of, Mizuki thought out loud. Naruto and Hinata wearing this were about to jump him and retrieve the scroll when out of the sudden Haruka dropped in front of Mizuki. Mizuki, how could you do this? You betrayed the leaf, Haruka said. He didn't understand how his best friend could betray the leaf and steal the scroll. Simple Haruka, I want power and when I give Orochimaru-sama this scroll is going to give more power that you can dream of, Mizuki said. He pulled couple of shurikens and threw them at Haruka yelling, Shuriken Kage Bushin no Jutsu, the shurikens multiplied to 20. Haruka seeing this hesitated and ended up pinned against a tree. Mizuki took out a Fuma shuriken and dashed forward with it spinning intending to end Haruka once and for all. Naruto seeing this jumped in the middle of them, kicking Mizuki back. Naruto, Haruka said surprised to see him. Hinata heal Haruka-sensei, I'll take care of him, Naruto said. Hi, she replied and started healing Haruka. You damn demon. Have you ever wondered why everyone hates you? Mizuki asked and Naruto raised an eyebrow. No Mizuki it's forbidden, Haruka yelled. 14 years ago the Yondaime didn't kill the Kyuubi, he sealed it in you. You are the Kyuubi reborn, Mizuki said expecting to break the brat so he could escape. Are you an idiot? He asked rhetorically. Mizuki narrowed his eyes wondering how it didn't do anything. I've known about the Kyuubi since I was 5 years old, hell I've been talking to him ever since. Did you even wonder why I have the kanji for 9 in my jacket? It's because I take pride in being a Jinchuriki. My life may not have been easy, but I'm happy that the Yondaime chose me, Naruto said getting shocked faces from both Mizuki and Haruka. Enough talk, and since you broke the third's law I have permission to kill you, Naruto explained. Try it demon fox, Mizuki said and took the last of Fuma shurikens and threw it at him. Naruto dodged the shuriken and went through a couple of hand seals and said Kaden, Gukaku no Jutsu great fireball technique. Mizuki's eyes widened when he saw the fireball coming. He jumped to the left where Naruto was waiting and gave him a fierce kick to the ribs, sending Mizuki crashing to the trees. Mizuki barely got up since he got a couple of broken ribs. Trying his best to find the demon brat when suddenly something grabbed his ankle. Looking down, he saw a hand sticking of the ground grabbing him tightly. Doten. Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu double suicide decapitation technique, Naruto said, dragging and burying Mizuki, leaving only his head out of the ground. Mizuki tried to get out but got nowhere. Naruto picked up the scroll of seals and caught a glimpse of a technique. Opening the scroll, it said, Bunshin Daibakua clone explosion B rank. Closing the scroll, he put it in his back and went to Iruka as Hinata was finishing to heal him. How are you feeling, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked. Iruka was one of a few people Naruto cared about. I'm fine thanks to you, he replied. Moments later, Anbu arrived at the scene and took Iruka, Naruto and Hinata to the Hokage and Mizuki to Ibiki. Hokage office. Anbu arrived with the three of them at the Hokage office. Naruto delivered the scroll of seals to the Hokage. Well done, Naruto. Due to yours and Hinata's help, we managed to secure the scroll of seals and catch a traitor. I'm considering this a B rank mission. I saw what happened through my crystal ball and I know you learned a jutsu from the scroll. Just be careful with that one. Anything else I might do for you in compensation? The Hokage asked. He was secretly happy that Naruto took his training serious. Actually, there is Gigi, Naruto said and got smacked in the head by Iruka. Show some respect to the Hokage, you brat, Iruka said. Hey, don't worry so much, Iruka, the Hokage said. I want to ask you if I could be on the same team as Hinata-chan and without Sasuke. We both know there will come a time I will need my eyes and I don't want problems, he said, and the Hokage raised an eyebrow considering the request. I know what you are thinking. I bet you were considering placing me along with Sasuke and Hinata, since Rookie of the Year goes with Kunoichi of the Year and have a create a heavy assault team. Naruto explained and continued, however you can still get the same benefits if you have Kiba, Sasuke and Sakura for the heavy assault team, and you can have a perfect tracking team along with heavy assault with me, Hinata and Shino, since I have my eyes and I'm a sensor, Naruto finished. Eyes? Iruka asked. The Hokage, seeing Naruto asking him what to do, silently said, it's up to you, Naruto, the Hokage said. Iruka-sensei, if you promise to not tell anyone until I reveal it, I will tell you, Naruto said, and Iruka replied, you can trust me, Naruto, you know that. Look into my eyes, Naruto said and closed them. Slowly opening them for dramatic effect, they were blood red with 3 tomos in each eye. Naruto's eyes were a fully matured Sharingan. Holy shit, Iruka yelled. Naruto simply rubbed the back of his head. That's why you transformed into Madara during the exam, Iruka said, and the Hokage raised an eyebrow. Of course, sensei, I have a legacy to keep. After all, Madara was my grandfather, Naruto said. Iruka's jaw dropped hearing this. Naruto was the grandson of one of the most powerful shinobi to ever live. Naruto, you really are the #1 unpredictable ninja of Konoha, he said, and both Naruto and the Hokage laughed. Naruto, if you have a fully matured Sharingan, how could you be the dead last up until now? Iruka asked. Deception is a ninja greatest tool. I listened to some of your lectures, he said, smirking, to which Iruka just dumbly nodded. All is well when ends well. Naruto, I agree with your request. Be at the academy next week for team placement. See you tomorrow, the Hokage said. Naruto, Hinata, how about I take to ramen as a thank you? Iruka asked, and of course Naruto agreed, jumping the air. The Hokage just shook his head seeing all 3 of them leaving his office. He sighed and picked up the pencil. T-no-hi, Hokage yelled, seeing paperwork pop up out of nowhere. Naruto, hearing the Hokage yell, thought, maybe I should tell him one of these days.